If I were you, before reaching for your phone or letting your mind get swept up in tasks and timelines, I'd pause. Just for a moment. I'd give that first breath of the day to God, not because He needs it, but because your soul does. Not to check a spiritual box, but to return to the one who anchors you. Quiet time isn't about performing. It's about remembering. It's about stepping into stillness that restores you. You don't have to come with perfect words. Just come to be seen, to be loved, to be whole again. If I were you, before the notifications, the noise, the endless demands, I'd step into a space where nobody is pulling on you. A space where God simply wants to sit with you. The silence isn't empty. It's full of His presence. It's where your chaos finds His calm, where your soul gets to breathe, where your questions don't need answers to be heard. And if you've ever whispered, "I don't know how to pray," start here. Start with stillness. Start with presence. Start with breathing in His grace and letting go of your fear. If I were you, before anything else today, I'd come to the quiet and say, "God, I'm here." Let's be honest. Stillness doesn't come naturally in a world addicted to movement. In a culture that praises hustle and constant output, silence feels counterintuitive. But in God's kingdom, stillness is not a luxury. It's a necessity. It's the sacred pause where striving ends and true strength is renewed. Stillness doesn't mean shutting everything out. It means letting God in. It's not about emptying your thoughts, but filling your spirit with His peace. When we get still, we don't fade, we awaken. We open space for the holy to settle. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46 verse 10. This verse is not just a gentle reminder. It's a divine invitation. Stillness is a surrender, not a retreat. It's where we lay down our burdens and rediscover who's in control. When that psalm was written, the world was far from peaceful. Nations were crumbling. The earth was shaking. And yet God didn't say fight harder or speak louder. He said be still. Why? Because that's where true knowing begins, in the quiet. Stillness leads to revelation, not the intellectual kind, but the kind you feel in your bones, the kind that happens when you lean in close, and God whispers into your ever-changing life with His never-changing presence. He's not a concept to be explained, but a presence to be trusted. And when we quiet the noise, we can hear Him clearly again. In stillness, God reminds us He's already here, already working, already holding it all together. In quietness and trust is your strength. Isaiah 30 verse 15. Those words are not just beautiful, they're powerful. Strength, by God's definition, doesn't always come with noise or fire. Sometimes it comes in a whisper. In Isaiah's time, God's people ran to foreign powers for help. But God's solution wasn't more effort, it was rest. Return and rest, and you will be saved. It feels backwards to us. But spiritual strength often comes in the stillness, not the striving. Trust isn't proven by loud prayers, but by a surrendered heart. True quietness is not an absence of sound. It's a presence of deep assurance. It's knowing that God's whisper is stronger than the world's scream. It's finding peace in uncertainty, choosing faith over fear, and learning that stillness is not weakness, it's rootedness. And from that stillness rises a new kind of power, not the kind built on performance, but on God's unwavering goodness. When we trust that He's already working, we no longer feel the need to fight every battle on our own. Very early in the morning, Jesus withdrew to a solitary place to pray. Mark 1 verse 35. Picture that the Son of God, healer, miracle worker, still chose to rise early and retreat into quiet, not because He was overwhelmed, but because stillness was built into His rhythm. Silence wasn't a reward after ministry, it was the foundation for it. If Jesus needed solitude, how much more do we? The quiet isn't where we disconnect, it's where we reconnect. It's not a break from life, it's the breath that sustains it. When we begin our day with God's presence, we're not emptying our to-do list, we're filling our spirit. Jesus prioritized the Father's voice over the crowds. That's how he lived with clarity. That's how he moved with purpose. Could it be that the clarity we're searching for is waiting in the silence we've been avoiding? The Lord is good to those who hope in him, to the one who seeks him. It is good to wait quietly. Lamentations 3 verses 25 to 26. We're trained to think waiting is wasted time. But with God, waiting is worship. Jeremiah wrote those words in the rubble. Everything around him was in ruins. And yet he hoped. Not because his situation made sense, but because God remained good. Waiting, when anchored in faith, becomes a declaration of trust. It says, I believe you're still working, even when I can't see it. Don't resent the silence. Learn to treasure it. It's in the stillness that your roots grow deeper. Your spirit grows stronger. Quiet doesn't mean you've given up. It means you're standing still with expectation. My sheep listen to my voice. I know them, and they follow me. John 10, verse 27. Jesus said his sheep recognize his voice, not because they're perfect, but because they've stayed close. Proximity builds familiarity. Sheep don't learn the shepherd's voice from afar. They learn it by walking beside him, step by step. God is still speaking, but have we made room to hear? If your heart feels crowded, your decisions cloudy, don't push harder, pause longer. Return to the quiet. Let his voice rise above the noise. Let him remind you who you are, where you're going, and that you're never alone. Stillness trains us to hear. Listening teaches us to follow. And following brings us back to presence. Have you drawn close enough to hear what the shepherd is whispering today? Maybe what you've been asking him for has already been spoken. You just need stillness to receive it. These scriptures aren't just ink on a page. They are living, breathing invitations to pause, to seek, to listen, to be. Quiet time isn't a nice idea. It's the sacred ground where identity, direction, and peace take root. Don't overlook the power of what God does in the quiet. In those soft spaces, you're not retreating. You're being rebuilt. You're not falling behind. You're being realigned. He's not asking for perfection. He's asking for presence. So today, will you stop long enough to remember that the God of the universe is still whispering your name? Will you meet him in the quiet